welcome to the Dugout. Today, like always, we are late. But today it was primarily because of me. I had an office function to attend.
Yeah.
And I did. And after that, Harshit was also dealing with some health issues. He had to deal with that. And then, of course, we have our usual discussion before we come live. So all of this, by the way, I must tell you guys, I didn't tell you. Yesterday I was live on Sports Talk and there was a comment that came. And the comment said that, see, I'm quoting verbatim. It said, see, Nikhil sir is on Sports Today and Sports Talk also. On Sports Talk, when he's there, it's starting on time. Sports Today is late. So the problem is not Nikhil sir in Sports Today. The problem is something else. So just to let you know that even viewers have picked up. The comment of the day comes from Anshu Mishra, who says, Sports Today or Thala, दोनों बहुत लेट आते हैं. It is quite in tune with our topic at hand, because we are also going to be discussing Chennai Super Kings, and just as we've been doing every day, looking deeper into a team's strengths, weaknesses, and likely playing 11. We'll be doing that for Chennai as well. Sorry we are late, but because we are late doesn't mean it's going to be a short program. It is going to be 1 hour plus, as we always do. But as is also the tradition, that before we dive into our analysis, we look around the world of cricket, and there's plenty happening, including, since we're talking about Chennai, the man from Chennai who said something, said the cat amongst the pigeon. We'll get to what Ashwin has said, and that you will see in our title as well. That will be a daily point of discussion before we dive into the team analysis. Before I go into that, there is also one thing that I wanted to mention, which I'm sure, I don't know whether Sports Today has covered it or not, but the RCB sale is very close in terms of getting a new buyer, and speculations are there. One Aziz Premji led consortium is expected to be winning. There's another one that's expected to be,
because we had done until the point when a Swedish firm, EQT.
Yes, that's also there. So now apparently, I think Swedish firm and Aziz Premji are they are the joint consortium bidders. Okay, because I think so, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because they had a bid of 2.1 billion USD. That's the Swedish equity firm that has done it. So we have done until that. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that any day now we'll know who the new buyers are. And today I just happened to see one post on X by Harsh Goenka, who tweets a lot about cricket, and he's dropped in a major hint where he says that winner could be announced anytime, and he thinks it'll be a Marwadi businessman who right now stays in the UK but is from Mumbai, who's won it. He feels okay. Now that points to only one person that I can think of, but his name wasn't even doing the round, so I'm a bit surprised, because that's the only one that comes to my mind is Anil Agarwal from Vedanta. He's the only one. Many people were speculating about Lakshmi Mittal, but he's not from Bombay. He's from Kolkata, and now based out of UK. And a Marwari businessman, yes. But from Mumbai, if I think of anyone, it is Anil Agarwal, because he used to, he was from Patna but moved to Mumbai very early and did all his businesses. Started small and scrap dealer, and from there on went on to make such a big umpire. So he seems to me the most likely, but I'm a bit surprised because he was not even being discussed, so I don't know whether it's him or not. Anyway, even what he says is still speculative, so there's no way of knowing. Anyway, just the news that I just wanted to share is that any one of these days you're going to get a new owner for RCB, and it's going to be a full ownership change, not partly. They're not selling a stake Diageo, they're selling the full franchise. So we'll know 31st March is the deadline, so we'll know before that any day. That was just something interesting that caught my eye. Now to the other issue, maybe Siddharth can give us a bit of a lowdown as to what is this new disease that's come up.
This new disease, as highlighted by Ravichandran Ashwin in a conclave, it spoke about fandoms, superstar culture. No one's talking about the sport anymore. It is all about superstar culture and how social media has amplified it in such a way where you don't talk about the game anymore. That is the new disease that is there. Exacerbated by fandoms, exacerbated by comparisons. It's not about one individual. It is about why are you doing it about this individual? Why? Broader holistic understanding of the game you can't do anymore because these fan armies will listen to something, put it out on social media, activate their PRs, activate their entire social media fan base, and ensure that all the comments that flood our timelines go viral. That is the new disease that Ashwin has pointed out in this conclave that he said. And honestly, someone had to say it. I'm glad it was someone like Ashwin who said it. Because we saw in 2024 the visible manifestation of what had happened. A guy who is supposed to lead a franchisee, it is not as if he's not capable of it. He was capable of it. But we saw how through a well-orchestrated PR campaign to smear Hardik Pandya, how it came out in the open. And from that, all the dynamics has changed because now Indian cricket can take a back seat. It is only certain individuals who matter. And I'm already telling you, Virat, Rohit, MSD, where all the fan bases are there, it is going to be replaced. Two more individuals are going to come in. One is a Shubman Gill fan base. The other is going to be a Sanju Samson fan base. And already we have seen the Sanju Samson fan base, how toxic and brutal they can be. That is the disease. It's been there. No one wants to treat it. It's been festering as a wound. No one is treating it. That's what Ashwin has highlighted.
I don't know whether I think it's not so much about, I don't know if I could be wrong that he's highlighting that you can't talk about cricket and it's all about individual. I think to me his reference to a new disease I felt was more about the fact where he's saying that certain narratives are being pushed on social media. By narratives he meant, and he gives an example, that sometime he has heard of an idea, first-hand idea, someone's come up with an idea, and then that same idea suddenly the fan armies use and start spreading that particular narrative.
Yes.
Right. And he then sees that, listen, this was a private conversation. This is something that was told to me in private and there were just 2-3 people sitting. How is it that this particular idea has now become a social media trend and everyone seems to be on the same page with this idea? That is what he's found surprising. And I think that is quite telling. What he's trying to say is, I'm just going to give a random example. He might be trying to say that, somebody shares with him the fact, this player, always fails in crunch situation. Just look at it. He's never, somebody sharing it with him. Who could it be sharing with him? I'm guessing must be somewhere high up, could be a player or a coach or that level. No, those are the people that Ravichandran Ashwin will be having lunches, and because he's talking about a dinner table, lunch table, breakfast table, whatever. Those are the people that he's sitting with. Either they are coaches, support staff, players themselves. So suddenly he has an idea about someone saying, this decision, let's say, is very wrong of the captain. I think this is, and then he sees, which he at that time thinks is an original idea. Maybe let's say you and me are sitting and you are a player and I'm Ravichandran Ashwin, and you just casual conversation, we're talking about the last match. He's like, no, I think, captain's got this wrong. He keeps playing X player and you just look at him. He always tries to run away from pressure when it's pressure. He doesn't want to bowl. Something you come up with. And I listening to him, I was like, okay, that's a new perspective I've heard. And you hear it and suddenly 2 days later you check social media and you see a lot of fan armies tweeting the same thing. And that becomes a narrative where then it is being discussed, and then he must be like, but this is a similar thought that I heard from a very prominent person at a breakfast table. How has it reached the fan army? What he's trying to pinpoint is the fact that to plant that idea, not just in a table, but to ensure the whole world talks about it, you can easily do it by paying PR companies, PR machineries.
Just about to say that the only thing telling about this whole thing is that players themselves are culpable.
I think that is what he's telling.
This is the story. The fact that Ravichandran Ashwin, the ilk of the people that he'd be surrounded by, their names are not going to be yours, mine, and Siddharth's. They're going to be coaches, former players, etc., etc. Right? Ravichandran Ashwin is sitting having meals, exchanging thoughts with those people. And if Ravichandran Ashwin after a week finds out that, listen, XYZ was talking about it the other day at the Hilton breakfast, and suddenly I see this is exactly what's come very hard on such and such player. Now that just tells you, Siddharth mentioned about how the campaign in 2024 played out for one such player. We saw what happened, those tears, we saw the holding up of the trophy,
No, so
and
what Siddharth is saying is that whole hatred towards Hardik Pandya was planned, was a PR.
Yes.
And what is to suggest
Totally.
What
So
is to
you are
suggest?
telling me that that is just one example. By the way, I don't think Ravichandran is just to let our view. I don't think Ravichandran Ashwin is alluding to this thing.
Absolutely.
I think what he's talking about is in general, and must have happened to him 2-3 times with different players and different ideas, and he suddenly sees it becoming a trend on social media. So he's pointing out that there exists a mechanism where influential people are, instead of just sharing an idea in personal, are doing that and also making trends so that the world talks and then pressure. See, because nowadays, just to let you know, the power of social media is like that. I'll give an example. Mustafizur was bought by KKR. Nobody knew anything. It was done, dusted. It's only days later that it became a political issue. People started speaking about it. Oh, it's only after the pressure put by social media that BCCI decided not to have it. This is happening in general, and you'd be foolish that selections. Yes, I agree. Selectors must be taking their own decision, and they've done a great job. Or teams in IPL take a decision based on what. But whatever said and done, once something gathers a lot of steam on social media, people start talking, or one player is continuously being pointed out is not doing well. This is his weak area. This is his failure. Blah blah. It influences your mind. Whether you're a coach, you're a selector, you are whatever, you're in the BCCI, it will influence your mind. And I think that is precisely why this is being done, to plant an idea which is against somebody who you don't like or you are competing with or whatever, and that person is brought down. And social media does have that effect, and it's being used in that manner.
I think in the last 6 months, we've had umpteen proof of this. Let's not go too long back as well. Even let's not forget what had happened on the captain's day at the Asia Cup as well. The handshake did happen. When did all of the drama begin? When did this diktat come? After there was social media outburst. After there was outcry on social media, then these handshakes cannot happen. The handshake had happened with Mohsin Naqvi, the handshake had happened with Salman Ali Agha, albeit briefly. Those were courtesy handshakes, those were friendly handshakes, warm handshakes, nothing like that. But the handshakes had happened. But what did we see after that? We saw an absolute drama which stemmed from social media. If there was no social media backlash, who knows, there wouldn't have been any of this handshake trouble at all. Not just in cricket, then subsequently in other sports as well, which has now become the trend when it comes to India-Pakistan matches. So there's been enough proof.
The thing with social media, but it's a double-edged sword also. You saw the handshake thing, social media amplified it, it didn't happen. Instance 1, green tick to social media. But there is a red cross also. On the first day of the match, of the India-Pakistan encounter in Asia Cup, what was the trend that was going on? Boycott. Was the match boycotted? Despite millions, billions of tweets.
But that was a hollow boycott call, Siddharth.
Exactly.
If it really was a meaningful boycott call, then the numbers, as Nikhil was pointing out yesterday, and now everyone knows how much fanfare you'd seen 14th, 21st and 28th of that particular month play out, when there was matches after matches, the viewership was only on the rise. So those boycott calls were rather hollow.
And even if they were quite strong, let's also establish that you can only, you do come under the pressure of social media, but you can only take those many decisions. Certain decisions will have to be taken despite social media calls also. So for example, I think that decision was taken because at that point you realize you can't pull out. There were a lot of the people who had to take a decision, they were going to be suffering a lot monetarily. So they didn't take that decision. So you will only take decision which you can afford to take. In this case, Mustafizur could be out. because there's not a larger loss. No, it's
Small
a
collateral.
Collateral, exactly. You can control that. So you have to be mindful of that as well. That it allows you to do it, and so you do it. But that's not to say that all selections would have happened or any player gets dropped despite social media call. A lot of time, there are decisions that are against what people are saying in general. They do stick to those decisions.
You are going to see a litmus test of this current situation right on the opening day of the IPL. I'll tell you why. Sunrisers are playing. Now you know what has gone on with Sunrisers. Everybody is now misdirecting all the anger at Kavya Moran for what she did in the Sunrisers Leeds auction, the 100. But that was in England. This was here. They'll misdirect that anger and say, oh, let's all boycott Sunrisers Hyderabad. Because they had the audacity to buy a Pakistani player in the 100.
But that is not, while that may happen, but I still think if that happens, that is still organic. I don't think anyone is manufacturing it. Yeah. I think the worrying bit is, and that is the distinction we have to make, whether social media calls, a lot of them are organic also, and I can imagine there'll be a lot of people that will be upset and they will go on social media and do that. But in the case of what Ravichandran Ashwin is pointing out, that a lot of time it is manufactured.
Yes.
Manufactured, that you can paint a player and make him a hero, you can paint a player and make him look like the villain, basis paid campaigns by pushing it. And what is really worrying is that if it was still done by, third party, okay, like genuine fan armies were doing it, though fan armies have no business to do it, but I'm saying even then fans got together and are very upset a player is playing or not and they start, I could still say that that's still organic. There is still angst of a fan base that they are upset something. What he is pointing out is, it's not even genuine outrage that you see on social media. It can be manufactured by, if I have, so for example, if there is, I do not like Siddharth, for example, and I want him chucked out of sports today. I don't have I pay a social media trend whereby I ensure that every day there are 100 hateful comments below our videos, all targeting Siddharth and saying that he is useless, he doesn't know anything, it's best to chuck him out, he has no knowledge, he has no, and if it keeps happening, it may influences the powers that be who have to take a call. But it is not genuinely that people don't like to, it's I hate you. So I have manufactured it, and eventually if the powers that be bow down under their pressure and you are removed, my job is done. So what he's saying is that this is happening, literally.
It has happened with one player just now.
It's the harsh reality of the world we are living in, and this goes beyond just sport. Everywhere you see, why is there people calling out for bots, etc.?
No, but I said if it was happening outside, it's still okay. Players, I would have never imagined, but here, though Ashwin not said player, but I'm just imagining it has to be an insider who's doing it.
And it's not like it's going to, cost you a lot as well. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, it's very reasonable.
A couple of lakhs.
Yeah,
it's a couple of lakhs we're talking about.
For players that travel in, fancy cars worth crores. 2 lakhs is
the only thing that interests me is that those who make that kind of money, how is it that, I cannot have a whitewash campaign done against, for my own benefit as well. Get my point? There's one player trying to pull me down, supposedly. And if I'm the target, if I see this coming as well, I'm also somewhat privy, if there's Ravichandran Ashwin with 5 other people, I'm sure the news travels to other people as well. So at times you may see that trend coming, or that social media hate coming at you, or you becoming the target. At times you can sense it, at times you will not be able to sense it. But once it's coming out to be a reality, what is stopping me then from again paying these, getting these campaigns started, getting paying these PR companies, etc., and get these trends started, which whitewash whatever damage that may be done. That could also be an exercise.
No. So it's not about always pulling someone down. I don't think Ravichandran makes a distinction as in he doesn't say it's always about going at someone. It could also simply be about the person himself. So supposing I am in conversation with you and I have a high estimation of myself and my contribution, and I'm sharing it with you that whatever said, and I may just have scored 20 runs, but see what a tough time I did it in. And if that had
Narrative
not
setting.
happened, no, let's say I'm telling you on the table, it again, as I'm saying, this is not always about me telling you about pulling someone down. It is, let's say I'm talking about myself only, that I did this, and you as Ashwin might think, this, I've not seen this the way, and you don't make much of it, or you think I'm exaggerating, you let it be. But suddenly you see that being spoken on social media. Now, this is not being used to pull someone down, but also to glorify me. Yeah. And why he's surprised is because this was told to him. And now he suddenly sees that, how is it the fan army has the same thought? Yeah. That, or it could also be other way. It's not always about me. Let's say, for example, I know of a player who comes from, let's say, or I'm good friends with, young player, good friends with, or he's my, chela, protege sort, and I want him in the team. And I am speaking, and I'll speak highly of him. I'll say, what, this guy, is outstanding. Actually, that's the thing that we need in our team. This young, let's say, leg spinner that I know, he's too good, If we had him, probably we would have won that match. That could be a conversation. Yeah. And he'd be like, this is the first time I'm hearing it. Suddenly you see on social media, fan armies are saying that. Then also he'd be like, this is what I had heard somebody say about how good he can be. How is it that it's trending on social media without that same person putting it out officially from his hand?
You know what? This is how player managements are structured. Nowadays,
by the way, this is a reality. Just so that everyone shouldn't think that we are only basing this on what Ravichandran Ashwin has said. If you have been a regular watcher of Sports Today, you would have realized that we have flagged this multiple times. In fact, I gave an example to these guys, and I think once or twice mentioned it on Sports Today. Before start of an IPL season, not too long ago. Okay, just last IPL season, before that IPL season started, I had told them that there will be this one trend pertaining to one particular player, glorifying him. And I even gave like you have a marketing line, hashtag, which is how will it glorify that person. I'm not going to get into specific, neither name the player or what, but I had told them before the season had started that, see, this will happen. And sure enough, when the season started, that hashtag started trending, and those banners were also seen with that same tagline in the stadium, and that became one of the themes for that player in that IPL. And that's when earlier I used to hear about it, that this happens, and it happens to us journalists as well. Sometimes if suddenly I am critical of an ex-player, suddenly I'll start seeing in our live chat hate comments pertaining to me, may not be with that player, but generally, because fan army has or a marketing agency has been employed to target. Why? Because that will trouble me, and then I will become careful while speaking about that player. Or if not there on social media, on your handle nowadays, it's very easy to abuse anyone. Yep. You go on X and you tag him and you abuse him, and 1 or 2 or 3 you may not be seeing, but if 50 people together start doing it, you also notice, what is this happening? Or go to your Instagram DMs and start sending you those abuse. So what happens? Most people, I'm not saying most people, we are all made out of flesh and bone. We get affected. It bothers us. And then a lot of people think, and this is a pressure tactic, a lot of people think, forget it, I don't want to get into it. Too much hate. Nobody likes hate. And then you slowly stop, criticizing that player, even though that criticism may have been valid. You'll stop doing it. Not everyone does it. Not everyone. That's why I often tell them, in this profession, you should have a thick skin. Doesn't matter what people say about you. So long as you are honest about what you're saying and you're unbiased, continue to say. Don't get perturbed by messages in live chats or whatever. You don't even know. They're faceless people. You don't know what their intention is. You don't even know whether they have been paid to do that, or are they genuine, or 10 comments could be done by one person only with different handles. Yeah. There's no way. Half of the people don't even put their real pictures. So
yes.
But that's what I'm saying. This is something that I experienced firsthand. I was told by a person who's in the field of promotion and marketing and these trends, had told me in advance, and I waited, and then that season panned out. So I now know that even people can be taken to stadiums and paid an X amount to carry a certain banner. Let's say, just to give it, let's say Siddharth or Harshit is a new player. Okay, he's just had 2-3, and I want to hashtag like GOAT. I want to call him the GOAT. I have decided that GOAT. Then I'll have it on social media everywhere. GOAT. Every time he scores, runs, hits sixes, GOAT will start trending. And it's very easy. I can source 100 tickets, which I pay to people to carry
those
banners with his photo as GOAT, and they scream also GOAT, GOAT. So I'm just saying it, and I saw that. That's what I'm saying. And you know what? It does not take an entire stadium for us media also to focus. If there are 50 banners also, we'll say the whole crowd is doing it.
Yes.
Just how graphically you explain it, it sort of amuses me. I'll tell you why. Completely unrelated. But remember, every time there's an uprising in our democratic society, and very easily people target one community saying, पैसे देके protest करा लिया, ये करा लिया, वो करा लिया.
No, say political party to this, what do you call that?
I'm just saying how graphically you were saying this. And it's the reality as well.
No, it is.
It doesn't happen
Like you have political rallies, you pay people and
those
bring.
videos are often
That is happening. That has moved.
But it's sad that,
you know where it's come from. It's actually come from Bollywood.
Bollywood, yeah.
So in Bollywood, it's pretty common because there, actors are very insecure.
Yeah.
They want a job, they want a film, it's very insecure. So they spread this on social media and they say this guy is popular. Then producers also, nowadays you hear Bollywood stars saying that you get picked for movies based on your social media following.
Social media, yes.
So nobody really see, those days you used to actually see casting wise, okay, which is the actor that will suit this particular role or this role or this role, and then you would cast that. Nowadays casting happens on how many followers on Instagram or whatever the person has.
It'll help in promotions, etc.
Or what people are saying or what trends are. So this is done in Bollywood because they're a very insecure thing. In fact, in Bollywood, I got to know, again I'll share with you, one big superstar was going through a bad run, and he made a comeback with a massive film, again because I have friends in the PR and industry, and they're and they deal with Bollywood. I was told that so many crores were spent to ensure that the first weekend is so important. So the first weekend, theaters across the country were sold out because the big opening tells how the movie is going to go, right? In India it is, I follow you. If the opening is good, if the weekend, then even if I'm not interested, I'll go Monday, Tuesday, because the reports will be the first. So there was a superstar who bought tickets across the country for the first weekend, sold out. He must have spent crores on buying that ticket. That's okay, because those few crores by Monday gave the push, and then everyone sees, oh, great reports coming, sold out, I have to go. So then from that onwards till the next 10 weeks, he sat and enjoyed the fruits of his marketing labor. So these trends have been picked up from there, and now they have slowly and steadily gotten into the world of cricket, which isn't great for the sport.
I mean, look at the way how player management is nowadays. Look at the way. Oops. Oh. Fofa.
No, I hope you're not cutting this on air.
Thank goodness for that. Certain song comes to my mind, but it will be copyrighted, so it's okay.
No, nothing. Please, no mention of
that. So, look at the way how our players are managed. There is, I mean, Nikhil, just to get through an interview, how many layers and layers we have to go through. Now, look at the trend that has emerged, which is very dangerous for most traditional media outlets. Who's getting access to players and who's getting access to more of their personal lives and getting a reach? Influencers who got nothing to do with the game, they are getting that.
And a lot to do with human psychology and not just how the sport is being run.
It is social media trend.
No, because I'll tell you why. Because why I'm saying human psychology is, let's be honest about it, we're willing to, just as consumers, we're willing to pay Netflix, whatever that, in comparison, it can seem to be an obscene amount as well at times when you compare it with other social media platforms. Just saying, you're willing to pay for OTT because entertainment, you need good entertainment. As far as news, as far as consumption, knowledge is concerned, people feel that this is their birthright. Quality knowledge is birthright and it should come for free. You are not willing to subscribe, you are not willing to pay up for all the platforms that do honest journalism, or are willing to
But
go that
Netflix
extra
you
mile.
pay. You
But
have no
Netflix you
option.
pay.
No option.
All OTT.
But Netflix you will pay. So so the whole, so why are content creators getting it, and not, let's say, traditional media outlets? Because Siddharth, you and I will ask journalistic questions. The content creator will not ask anything journalistic. The content creator will be like, ये reel देखी थी, यार आपने ये बोला था उसके बाद. But you will not ask about whatever infringement that was done on the field by whatever player that we're talking about over here. Who likes uneasy conversations, Siddharth?
Yeah.
And people will want to see how is it that players are reacting to reels. What is it? They want to get to know the personal side, which you and I can also talk
No,
about.
but Harshit, I think there are enough people out there who also want answers to tough questions.
Yeah, but that population,
want it.
The whole world of social media is dictating these things.
But then that's not.
Your T20 World Cup was a very good example. Looking at the number of those tags that you had that were distributed to people from the content industry vis-a-vis, let's say, the media. We know how difficult it was for us to get our accreditation sorted, and where ICC was in terms of its priorities to give access to people. And was there anything newsy about it? Absolutely not. But there was 100% very good promotion about it, which you and I may not be able to serve.
See, I have nothing against promotion. They anyway spend a lot of money, but I think you'll need to find a balance here.
Exactly.
So while there may be need for promotions, and I'm not grudging anyone that, whether they're influencers, whatever, I'm not grudging, but by the same yardstick, journalism is also needed. In fact, journalism is needed for the functioning of the society. Just as in our society, if you do not have credible journalists asking the tough questions, then there is no accountability. Then the people in power will continue to do what they have to. And journalism, by the way, is done for people only. That person who asks questions doesn't benefit alone. He benefits or works for the benefit of the society, that certain areas which need to be questioned from the powers that be are sorted out. And it'll have to be done in cricket as well. And I'm glad to note, and it's not always about social media trends. Certain decisions are taken in terms of pressure. I'll give an example. I think, I could be wrong, but let's say, for example, the fact that Shubman Gill was removed from the T20 team right before the World Cup. I don't think it was a tough decision. I don't think there were any social media campaigns per se. In fact, there were equal amount of people backing him and those that are criticized, but there was no trend as such. Yes, people must have written about their disappointment that he's not doing, but I don't think it was a social media driven campaign like some campaigns that we see.
It wasn't.
That anger was genuinely driven by mainstream media. Discussions and articles and things written about how that one could be a weakling in the rest of your team and how it has disrupted the combination of where you play. And I think that played a role. I don't think that it just happened because the mainstream media raised it. I'm sure you have to give credit to the selectors, the coach, the captain, whoever took that call. But I think it was also driven by that. I think to an extent, what happened in the middle of this T20 World Cup, where Sanju Samson was brought back because of a tactical reason where you realize there are too many left-handers. I'm not saying the team was not aware, but I think it adds on to the pressure when mainstream media discusses it, whether it's former players or journalists in their discussion. So there is scope for mainstream media. You raise those questions, it helps in fixing certain areas. So there is scope for that. If you take that away, it'll
be a big void.
No, the sport will decay.
Yeah. The thing is, I think what Ashwin is alluring to in this whole debate is that, look at how the player management system is at this point in time. There are certain outlets who manage a player. To get through to him, layers and layers. Oh, talk to this manager, talk to that manager, talk to this head, talk to that social media head. There is a social media presence with every player that is there. Now that social media guy or that particular PR person is interlinked to social media in a lot of ways. So it's like a branch, it just spreads and spreads and spreads. What happens then is, if I want to have a conversation with a player about a certain thing, but then it won't stay within four walls. That's the problem. A player will indirectly say or give the hint to the media manager, all right, just put it out on social media. I don't know social media because most of the players and most of the administrators don't operate their own social media.
Yeah, narrative building. We've been seeing so many players who are sent to the center of excellence before you can hear anything officially. They're the ones setting the tone themselves with those, you know.
Well, that is, I think, BCCI's fault, where they should make it very transparent. I think that's
where you see
Because-
these training videos and all, and you know, people like, you know, watch out.
But that's
he's
actually
back
now
and
the
this.
good thing about social media. What my point is that allows.
BCCI never gives official releases.
I agree,
and
but
they
I'm
never
saying
tell.
I agree. Well, that may hurt you and I as journalists, but let's look at it, you know, objectively, not from our point of view. I think that's a good thing about social
But
media,
this is
that
what-
fans do get to see the first-hand
But
pictures
let's
and.
misuse this as well. We've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Where again you're trying to send the message, if there's an IPL around the corner and you may, again, you don't want to be named as the replacement, because yes, there's a big paycheck on the line as well, and you know, if you get ruled out for the season, then that paycheck.
But what's wrong with that, Harshit? I give an
you're trying
example.
to send out feelers and all, right? The
But-
picture may
but
not be
You're
you.
trying to hold the narrative. You're trying
Yeah.
to dictate the narrative.
No, but in that, I'll tell you, for example, there are certain times you don't pick a player. I'm talking about India. You don't pick a player, he's not fit. You come, now BCCI says it, the player never had an avenue to clear his name. Now he has social media. What does the player do? Put videos of him bowling full tilt.
We found out with one
There you
bowler.
go.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Name
So,
na
but,
Mohammad
but,
Mohammad Shami.
but that's what I'm
Shami
saying.
has
But
been
that's a
posting
good thing
videos.
about social media, that he or she has
He's
some
given a voice.
He gets a voice where he can tell you that no, because previously it would have happened that okay, because he doesn't have a voice, he's not going to go all the way out looking for an interview or coming and saying it in mainstream media. And if BCCI tells you, we take it on face value, everyone accepts it, okay, he's not fit. Now social media doesn't have to say anything. One simple video, bowling 5 deliveries, full tilt, done. Great for him.
Great for him.
I think that's a sign of a good use of social media.
See, it is this lack of transparency also that ensures these kind of rat races happen. I want information. I want my fan armies to get activated. Which is why anything you do, these fan bases, these in the era of social media and influencers, this is bound to happen. And it's only the beginning. The T20 World Cup 2026 was the tip of the iceberg, yeah. Who knows what's going to happen whenever there's any other event in India?
No, but I think that's a problem with how cricket is run and viewed in India. Let's be honest about it.
Are you sure we'll not have it in South Africa?
Siddharth, there is a stark difference. Look at how the Champions League nights are covered in Europe. Look at how the BGD gets covered over there. There's a proper map of how, that Jasprit Bumrah hyperextension makes all the difference in the world. How often do we see that happen over here? You would rather see some sort of, contest happening between the experts. You would rather see, pick this cup, that cup, and this and that banter is happening. Again, it has a lot. Again, not dissing the broadcaster wear, but I think this is a reflection of who we are. We are consumers. This is this is consumerism at its best.
But I also think that they misjudge the consumer. I think this general opinion about that Indian fans are just massy fans who just enjoy, they don't understand the nuances of the game, so I won't offer it.
Actually,
and
there
so
is a
we'll do-
fair majority that they don't want to tap into.
But I think they know cricket inside out. But the that's why I'm saying, the kind of commentary that's on offer is very massy.
Yeah.
Where all this, because they think, especially with Hindi, they'll think, oh, they don't understand. In English, they'll still do some sort of nuanced discussion or some segments. But for Hindi, they'll say, which I think is a big mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to the hinterland, go to, areas which aren't your top cities, and they could be people speaking in local languages. Yes, they may not be speaking in English, but believe you me, now when you travel you realize the kind of insights they have on cricket, phenomenal. They understand the sport. So but you're made up in your mind that no, these are just masses who just like sixes and fours, and so we'll do
And
Gagan
the shore
Chumbi
meter.
Chakka, and we'll do all that kind of
And the
words.
shore meter, which is going to
Shore
come in
meter
10 days.
but I think you're misjudging the audience. Audience is
Totally.
way smarter than all of this.
Totally,
think so.
totally. So,
AJ is here.
AJ 17 AJ. Breaking news, you're officially late. Again. Time and you all clearly aren't on speaking terms. Day 3 of late, later, latest, and then sports today.
Okay, AJ. What do we do? Let that be our identity.
It hurts,
Then
man.
let's enjoy, na?
Yeah.
Like, Govinda was known.
Of course, notorious.
Salman Khan.
Acha. I thought Salman would
No,
be
no,
a bit punctual. I thought Govinda was notorious. No one would be like him. Late. Always late.
It's okay. But Govinda used to be late. But once the camera started, Govinda turned on.
I think 1 year he did about 49 films.
He just, once he turned on, he turned on. Yeah. Rohit Sharma is not late.
Yeah.
He
Forget.
forgets is
But
another
I think
thing.
he's not late.
He's not late. He's not late. He forgets. That's okay.
Right. Steve Ticolo saying, Ash Anna is the biggest saint in the world. Only if someone dares to ask him how he feels about being parachuted in 21, 22, 23 World Cup, was it fair?
No, Steve, I'll just tell you one thing. I don't think he's a saint, and I don't think he claims to be a saint.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Okay? But what I like about him is that in this day and age of people coming up with well-rehearsed lines and people in camps, and that includes a lot of former players also, the people that they like, they'll back to the hilt. They don't like, they'll, try and attack them. And a lot of time players have a very different opinion, but once you put them on camera, they never say those things. It is there with most players that I know. That way I'll give credit to Ashwin, that he's, he calls a spade a spade.
Yes.
He's consistent with that, even if it means, asking or saying the uncomfortable bits. He does that, and I think he deserves credit for that. I think so. It's not easy for him to point these things out, and especially if in that fraternity you always fear the fact that, listen, I may be ostracized from the cricketing community if I say, but he says it. In fact, I like, he's oftentimes said it. The many people who blamed the Virat and maybe Gambhir later as coach, or some people even mentioned Rohit Sharma, that they weren't kind to him, removed him or whatever. But I think even for Gambhir, he said, okay, I don't know whether he liked him, but in case he was not in favor of me being in the team and didn't want me, then fair on him. That's what his job is, and there's no reason for me to disrespect him for that just because I don't agree with his opinion. And I like that about him. He's not perfect. There are some times that he may have said something that we don't agree with. That's all right. That I think is, but what I like is his consistency. He analyzes the game to the best of his ability. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. And as far as those parachuting things is concerned, I don't think he went with a box of mithai to the captain to bribe him that play him.
Yeah.
And
Others thought that he had something that they needed. They took him. At other times they thought, by the way, a lot of times he was dealt unfairly with in test match cricket. We've spoken about it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
my man.
and
Yeah.
In
so-
Sena countries, the most unfairly
Lot
treated
of times.
cricketer.
Lot of times. So
Exactly.
that's how the cookie crumbles. Sometimes you
I mean,
Goes
Ashwin
your
would be
way
cursing
sometimes.
himself for one thing. This T20 World Cup saw the return of off-spin.
Yeah, 2023
Oh, I could have-
also. What, man plays only the Chennai match? That's it.
23, yeah, that's it. He
That
plays
is
only the
it.
Chennai match.
But you heard it from the captain. Yes, we were very clear we need him for that match.
Yeah.
exactly.
Chirag Patel is saying, like in
And in all of that, you're talking about 21 and
22.
22, that wide ball moment of
and the winning shot.
The winning shot.
no that
That
lead
wide,
in a-
the epic leave for the ages here.
Heat the moment.
exactly.
Oh, Nawaz,
What have you done?
Then the Chirag Patel, I think in 2023, in CSK, MSD did not finish the match alone. There, Rayudu, Jadeja, MS, three were contributes together. One person can't give finish. Tough in death overs. Last 2 seasons, MS was alone.
Good point by Chirag. I think they have looked at getting a few finishers. When we do analysis of the CSK team, you will realize that I think that's one thing that they've realized, and they've tried to change that. It'll also be interesting to see the kind of role that MS performs this season.
Yeah.
There's a lot
That's
of
all.
commentary on where people
No,
want to
but
see him
you and
back.
I will also have. I don't
course.
know. I mean, he may have a different opinion. You might have a different one. I may have a different one. And I think it's a very big talking point. This.
Yes. Yes. Ashish Shandelia, if only one is up for grabs, what will you be picking? CWC 27 or WTC 27? If possible, and you make it to final. CWC 27.
What will you-
yaar.
You've got to choose one between the World Test Championship, Mace, or the World Cup trophy.
Even though I regard Test cricket as the pinnacle of the sport, but I think in terms of a prize, I don't think WTC has reached that level or that importance that it is the same as. We've just started because of the
function. Ashish there, Ash is right, but could have said it before retiring. I mean, when you are with the BCCI, when you are with Indian cricket, there are a lot of foundations. But Ash himself is a
But he was
revolutionary.
YouTubing, yeah.
Yes.
He was YouTubing while he was
Yes.
playing international cricket.
But when he was with CSK, he had
But
to.
yeah.
That is the thing. That I think was the
Even then,
straw that broke the camel's back.
the sheer courage and the guts of the man, yeah.
But I tell you why he said it probably now so much is, one, I think because all of this has started in the last 4-5 years.
Yeah.
That is one. And secondly, I guess he's also feeling the brunt of the social media trends and anger by fan armies since he's become a YouTuber, as you and I would realize. As a player, you don't now, because he gives opinions, and some opinions on different days would be against different players. Then when he bears the brunt of those fan armies, I think it's that
Correct.
realization, sets in.
But
We've
I
been
don't know-
used to it for long.
I don't know who told him I'm part of no fan army, because he's continued to block me on Instagram.
Does he? No, can't.
Still don't have access to his.
Yeah, we should invite Ashanna here. Yeah.
I don't know who told him that I'm part of those fan armies. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're not. I can't remember you ever saying anything.
That is the thing that perplexes me.
Must have been a case of mistaken identity.
Mistaken identity. Yeah.
Looking at Harshit Rana and I think so.
Or that fellow
Mohit.
Mohit to chalo is joke. That lookalike, the one who, some athlete who went into the women's hostel.
But still, why would you have reason? I don't know. I don't know. If he is watching this, please, Ashwin, unblock Harshit. Yeah, he's blocked on Instagram by you, whereas his poor guy has never been.
Nothing.
I don't know. Algorithm sometimes does it also, no? Remember it happened with Virat once, that like had happened.
Oh yeah. Yes.
He had said that.
Yes. It did. Oh.
So
There are cover-ups and
These-
then there is that.
These
no, it happened.
algorithms.
One time it happened, but that nephew had also tweeted.
Suresh
But
Raina's
then,
nephew, yeah.
Yeah. So like that. So
It's, again,
must be a glitch in the system.
System.
Otherwise, I don't think there's any reason to block you.
Steve Ticolo, power of social media. GG.
Any
makes
reel
us-
you had made or any time put, let it
No, you're
reach
making
this.
reels now, na? That time I didn't.
nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Steve Ticolo, power of social media. GG makes a statement. 20 odd cake gang journalist puts the same tweet with that particular message ending with Jai Ho GG Ki. I wonder.
No, if that happens, then that is similar to all other things, creating trends. Not good at all.
It is. Dhanush Singh, perform Rohit, removed captain CT. When same happened, non-performance Sky got carried T20 World Cup against top 8 teams. T20 World Cup given even if Ishan, Varun, Arshdeep are captain.
Dhanush says that make anyone the captain, they would have won. I think that's an unfair comment.
thing,
I think, as you realize, very easy to say it now. We had hiccups in the campaign and we were all sweating buckets. And truth be told, I think Sky, the captain, on many occasions did a great job. Right? So, let's give the credit where credit.
I think he kept the team environment calm.
No,
That's
he's
one, but
everyone's complimenting him for the change of mindset as well.
Change of
Players are
mindset.
saying that. Tactically, imagine 6 bowler was your problem. He started playing with 5 and he did a great job in rotating them. Everyone said give Bumrah overs early. He went
his
against the grain of what everyone was saying, got him in the hit. That England game, changed it around.
Yeah.
Bumrah not bowling the 2.
Yeah.
So give him credit. He did well as captain. His batting also, if you look at overall numbers, he's the 3rd highest run getter, but not as great as you'd expect him. But to the Rohit's, I'm not, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I think we all discussed. I remember at least saying that it was a bad call to remove Rohit as ODI captain at that stage.
Yeah.
But that's the call that they've taken. That was a wrong. Doesn't mean you do another wrong with Sky as well.
Yes, exactly. Ashish Shandilya. In foreign tours, instead of warm-up, should BCCI make available player play in domestic side of country like they did in New Zealand 09 tour for better prep?
No, it's always a good idea if you want to do that. But I guess, Ashish, you and I can say whatever, and we've said this in the past as well, have longer tour games, things like that, go acclimatize. We've said it. But nowadays what I hear the players say, we don't want to go that early. Whenever they get a bit of a break, they rather want to be on a holiday. I don't blame them. They have such a hectic schedule that it's tough. I mean, nowadays, players don't even get a window to get married. It's really tough. quite
That's
frankly.
true.
So if they want to have a holiday and that serves better purpose in terms of their, mental rejuvenation, then let that be. And if they think that just playing a bit of amongst themselves, what are that, intra-squad games and those things help, then so be it. Anyway, they've made a big change when it comes to domestic cricket and how now most people have to be playing, even not playing international cricket. I think that those steps have already been taken. I think that's good.
Indeed. AJ17 AJ is with 2 comments. I was working in a digital marketing agency, and my agency used to get work for destroying digital presence of some individuals by trolling or fake rumors.
There you have it from industry expert.
Industry expert.
There you go.
But he says, I got shocked when my friend who used to work in a PR agency told me that crowd booing Hardik was not naturally done by the crowd. It was planted.
You and Siddharth are on the same page.
I knew it from day one. I knew it. It was all planted. It can't be natural. Because any sane, rational thinking entity would not do what they had done. Any sane. Bringing in all these nonsensical outsider, insider talks and all of that.
The anger was misdirected. The anger then had to be against the
No, but he's saying the anger wasn't there.
Yeah.
Forget about being misdirected.
It was.
He's saying it was manufactured.
How long has this term rage baiting and engagement farming been around? 2-3 years?
New terms.
New terms, no?
Aura farming is also.
Aura farming.
They all tried it in 2024. It was those were the births of those new terms. Engagement farming, rage baiting, aura farming. The crowd wanted to show its aura, but for an aura, you need to have something on top, which was not there. Honestly, it wasn't there.
Okay, Shivam says it was good for Hardik. That made him even stronger.
But I would not wish.
not the way you
I would
want
not wish that he go through that
Yeah,
hell. yaar.
he went through a bad phase.
Bad
Let's be
phase.
honest.
Yeah. मैं अपने दुश्मन को भी I wouldn't do that.
And the damage was beyond just the one khede. Wherever he would go, he would get
Exactly.
that. No athlete deserves that.
Chirag Patel. Nick, Shivam, Ritu, MS will be crucial in batting for CSK. Around them, other players can play aggressive. MS will play every match. Don't worry with batting. CSK should score 20 plus par run. Put pressure on other team.
No, it's a valid point. I think, MS anyway will not be eating into too many deliveries. He'll only come towards the last 2-3 overs, and there's only one way you play. So either he'll score or he'll get out and somebody else will come in. And I agree that the explosiveness will have to be provided by a majority of other batters. I don't think he has that role anymore. He has a minimal role in that sense. I think he's more of a mentor being there. Also, I mean, you and I can say whatever. The CSK fans love him. The shore meter tells you that, you and I can say he should play, not play. The CSK fan is saying, doesn't matter, we are going to go watch him play.
Exactly.
End of matter. We love him. So, he'll come, he'll play.
Steve Ticolo. Sorry, but journalists are also not immune to this. Majority of them work for a specific section, be it player or now for coach, as they get good pep talk. I would...
He's on target one place only.
Yeah. But I would say replace that term majority with minority.
Correct. I agree with Siddharth.
Not all.
Completely agree. I know Steve.
I like
Steve
how-
has this one example and he keeps going after it and then says majority.
Majority. But I like the fact that he's very much in tune with what's happening. Because
Then
the
he's
whole
focused.
pep talk bit also he knows.
Because we discussed. no?
Yeah.
He's a regular viewer.
I wish
He
the
knows
Kenyan team had that kind of focus here. Seriously. AJ17 AJ. Sid has some personal grudges from influencers. No. I have a personal grudge against privilege. That's the only thing. They just get easy access. When all of us go out, strive and work hard for 10-15 years when we can't get it, when they get it on a platter like this, that is a privilege.
But that's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
It's the
at all.
system.
Again.
I'm
And
blaming
now
the system
We are not trying
for
to grudge an entire fraternity out there.
It is the system
that's
that
not
I'm
the
grudging.
thing,
Yeah. Ashish, Sidvi, the barrier that influencers broke is because they also worked hard to have million followers just like you guys. By the way, when is your book coming? It's coming. Yeah. But the barrier the influence bros is they worked hard to have million followers.
Yeah, but then
Could be.
one thing you're forgetting over there is those millions of followers came during, let's say lifestyle content. And you're seeing lifestyle content guys out on a cricket field, or somebody in marketing now becoming this, or whatever it is. People from different walks of life have now taken over, and I wonder where the cricket is in all of that.
Yeah. Divyanshu Luthra, India was never a sports-loving nation and never will be. It is a harsh reality from days of GOAT, Major Dhyan Chand, and continues in 2026 and beyond. True. True that. I think there is one more. Oh, wow. Sai Srivatsa.
But India was, to that, I'll just say to Divyanshu.
We were until the 80s.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, in those days, even in cricket, you used to discuss a lot of nuance of the sport and in general how India is doing. And it wasn't just, while I agree, there were always stars. There was a Gavaskar, there was a Kapil, there was a Tiger Pataudi before that. There were big stars that had Bishan Bedi. I agree. But I think we weren't so obsessed with individuals as we were with the collective performance of the team. And in other sports also, by the way, there used to be massive interest in other sports.
It was all related to success. Until the 80s, our hockey team was doing great. Gangbusters. Cricket was
they've had a revival. 2 back-to-back Olympic medals. Yeah.
But then 83 changed all the cricket, then became the cornerstone. And we had a huge decline in the Olympics.
That's not an issue, but I'm just saying that individual versus that.
Sai Srivastava is saying, it all starts from BCCI. Look at the broadcasting. All catering to Bollywood and influencers. The more they promote this, people are drawn to this and they think that's what is real sports journalism. And think that's what is real. Sports journalism is rather than asking right questions.
Exactly what we discussed, Sai. Thank you for, reiterating what we had focused on. And that is something that, needs to be looked at much more closely. Yeah.
Steve Ticolo, should we having PR company at home, privilege or not? I think it's a privilege.
Who has a PR company
at home?
At home. It's a big privilege here.
Who has? Sidvi has one.
I don't have.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think he's asked me a question. Is it?
No, there is no company at home. By the way, just to make a distinction, if you're trying to say that players being managed at home, a lot of players now are managed by their own companies.
Yeah.
Just to point that out, that third party, is now gone. For example, I'll give you lots of players like, Virat has gone solo now. It's a firm that he partly owns with Ravi Shastri and they manage it. He used to be managed by a third party, Cornerstone. Now he's moved out. Rohit Sharma now, though Rohit is still with Reliance, by the way. He's still a Reliance athlete. Then there is Hardik Pandya, who's gone solo. He used to be a Reliance athlete. Now he's managed by his own people. Sanju is managed by his own company. MS Dhoni is managed by his own company. So they all manage. So at home, meaning everyone now says that instead of me giving a commission to a third party, we'll only... Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
No one person as such.
Yep, indeed.
So, by the way, just a reminder, we had to also speak about Chennai Super Kings, which obviously we can't do in the dugout today. But that doesn't mean that our analysis won't be up. Every day in the morning, a fresh analysis of a team comes. KKR is done, MI is done. And keeping that promise in mind, tomorrow morning, you will get the CSK analysis as well on Sports Today. So, we'll do that. But before we wind up, any more comments we'll take or are we done? There must be a few more. Those that not sending you super chats, you are ignoring them.
I think they are demanding CSK in comments.
Acha. So just a reminder, those of you who are demanding CSK will be up as promised tomorrow morning. It'll premiere tomorrow. What time will it premiere tomorrow? 12 noon tomorrow.
12 noon. Yeah.
Will be our analysis.
Yeah.
Okay, we are taking Anshu Mishra. No, sorry.
Steve.
Okay, so you're going to go with Dex, okay?
Yeah. Sid, do you think that CAS will favor Senegal? Oh, yes, because Senegal have been stripped of their Africa Cup of Nations title.
Oh.
Yes. Morocco have been declared 3-0 by forfeit because of AFCON regulations 82 and 84. 84. I hope CAS does not favor Senegal. Because what they did, Senegal, was unsportsmanlike. They should have, because what AFCON regulations cleverly mention, if you walk out without the permission of the referee, it's considered a forfeiture. 20 minutes the game was held up. And I hope if CAS really wants to uphold the sporting spirit, they shouldn't side with Senegal. They did a wrong thing, yeah. Morocco was robbed.
See, CAS that way, I mean, having covered the case very closely when I was there, one thing I know about CAS, they strictly go by the rule book. There's no scope for emotions or anything like that. Or if the rule says, if it's there, that if you do this, you should be disqualified or whatever, they'll just follow that. End of matter. They won't try to uphold the spirit of the game and things like that. Nothing. Simple. Nothing. Rule says this, you did it, out. Rule allows you to do this, there's a okay.
Check out the video we have done. The rule is right there. Why Senegal was stripped of the Africa Cup of Nations.
It's the rule book that says the moment that article comes into play, 3-0 for feature. That's the score line. Doesn't matter what it was at that time, 3-0, it's given if the team decides to leave the field of play.
Yes. That's really good.
Okay. Keshav Kumar says, sports today has made punctuality a crime. At least we have some contribution. Imagine. Imagine our powers. We have changed the norms and the ways of life.
We
Punctuality from today shall be a crime.
Yes.
Thank you, Keshav. We'll take that.
Yep.
As our influence reaching far beyond the confines of this studio.
Correct.
Rajiv says, Nikhil bhai, why do you keep talking about such a boring sport like cricket? Please talk about football or tennis sometime. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Rajiv, come on, yeah. Cricket is also a sport we all love. I love tennis also. I love football also.
But we have done dugouts on football also. You can check it out in the past.
Yeah, but see, you also know we do a lot of football programming, other programming. You see how many people are interested in that. You will see vis-a-vis cricket. That's the reality.
Yeah.
That's also a fact. We cannot be living in a utopian world where we start doing anything. See how much we love football. We have a member who was supposed to be here today. His team got a hammering yesterday. He's not turned up today.
7-2.
He's under shock, yeah. Give
the
guy
No, but still not winning and get hammered in the second.
7-2, yeah.
5-2 they were trailing at.
Yeah, but 3-0 loss at home, yeah. Come on.
The poor guy is in shock, yeah. Come on.
Okay, Sachin Kashyap says, yesterday Madrid destroyed City. Can Madrid beat Bayern? Arsenal can win quadruple. I hope so today. Barca going out from Champions League. If Barca does survive, how are they going to manage Atletico? Too many questions he's asked in one breath. But we'll take that as your comment. I think Sachin is a Madrid fan.
Yeah.
But they did destroy City, I agree. Completely.
But I would still say that City were good, even after 10 men.
Yeah, they were down to 10 man. Yeah.
So only Arsenal are the only Premier League side remaining?
Offside goal scored yesterday though.
Yeah.
No, but that they checked that for offside.
They checked, Just saying the margins were very, very small. And most teams against the Real Madrid side would come there with a 3-0 advantage. To be putting on a spirited effort as well counts to something.
And they had a few good chances as well. They could have given it. But it wasn't a demolition job as PSG did with Chelsea. So it wasn't that.
So are Arsenal the
and
only...
10 men, I think the tie gets over there and then.
So they're the only Premier League team in the Champions League remaining? Arsenal?
No, Newcastle. They're playing tonight.
Against Barca, right?
Yeah, it's 1-1 from the first leg, but today they are playing in Barca. That was a Newcastle.
That was at St. James's Park. Okay. Siddharth, 58th day comeback. Morocco did the ultimate remontada. Yes. It had happened at that time.
Chalo. Okay, we have one more. Dhanush says, Sky third leading run scorer, but I said top 8 teams.
He doesn't contribute against the top 8 side. He contributes, he's a minnow killer. That's what Suryakumar Yadav is.
Fair point indeed. No argument there.
Yep.
Okay then, on that note, we'll take your leave. Thank you very much, ladies and gents, for joining us. As I said, the Chennai Super Kings preview to IPL 2026 drops on Sports Today tomorrow afternoon. As Other previews have been dropping at 12,
Yes.
12 o'clock. Check that out.
Check that out.
For the moment, from Siddharth, Harshit and I, take care. Bye-bye.
Nandri, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair.
Eat your vegetables.
Don't trouble your mother. Subscribe to Sports Today.